What is up, everybody? Chlorine King here. Thanks for tuning in for another video. In this video, I'm going to show you a really cool trick on how to stop water from gushing out if you happen to cut a pipe below grade. In this setup, which I'll show you here in a second, I had a feeling it was a 50-50 chance that this was going to happen, but since it did, let's go ahead and show you the trick I got to resolve it so you can make a good glue joint to do whatever repair you need. So let's go ahead and show you how it's done. So guys, this is the equipment of our customers. They called us to remove that old non-functioning heat pump. And now you can sort of look at this equipment and see that it's below grade just based on how the installers design this. They're putting in what I'm calling hard for loops, these big, tall pieces of pipe, trying to get the plumbing above the level of the pool to eliminate water coming through when you're cutting up the system. Well, unfortunately, with the way the system's plumbed, which I'll get into here in a moment, we're dealing with water, and we're dealing with it on the outlet side, which is the line here that's capped. So if I pull this cap off, you'll see that water starts gushing out. So we need to eliminate that so we can make a good glue joint, which I will show you my trick here in a second. But you guys might be wondering, why is this line gushing and not this one? Well, it has to do with some valves and all that kind of stuff. So on the suction side of the equipment, there's the filtration pump. You can see I closed off that line and that line, so every line going into the pump is off. I also turned off this ball valve here coming out of the filter, and this line is feeding. You can see it, trace it down here, and this is what's going over to this line here, and that's why this line's off. The problem is with the return side or the outlet side of the heat pump, if we come back over here, there is no valves to shut off on the return side. And what ended up happening was these installers did not build this Hartford loop tall enough to stop water from back flushing through the system all the way over to there, which is why we're dealing with that. So let me show you the trick and show you the repair and how to get this all done. So you guys might wonder, how do we stop this enough to make a good glue joint? We can use the blue glue, which I'm going to use, which is designed to be used with water situations like this, but we're going to try to do our best to eliminate any possible leaks or anything after we make a glue joint, because obviously, we don't want to be having to dig underground to get the situation resolved. It's just going to make things worse. So the trick I have for you is bread. So what you got to do is basically just take enough bread and ball it up, and then what we're going to do is remove that cap, jam the bread down there. It's soluble enough to soak up water long enough to make a glue joint, and then when you start the system back up, it dissolves, and yes, you will get bread in the pool, but the point is you're able to make a good glue joint with enough dry time from stuffing that bread down the pipe. So let me go ahead and show you how we do that. All right, so we can see here I got the balled up bread. It's 3 pieces of potato bread. This is a 2-inch line. You can see it sits nicely like that. What we're gonna do is quickly remove this cap, and as the water's coming out, we're gonna jam this bread down here. And what it's gonna do is gonna stop it temporarily, soak up some water so we make a glue joint. So unfortunately, I'm not gonna make the glue joint on camera because I gotta be quick with it. I already did build this little hat right here. We are using blue glue. I'm not a huge fan of it above ground stuff, but because we're below grade and dealing with water, why not have the extra insurance? So I'll go ahead and rip this cap off now, jam the bread down, show you how it stops the leak, and then from there, I'm gonna cut the camera off, make the glue joint real quick, and then show you the finished product. So let's go ahead and do that now. Pull that off. Now we're just gonna jam that bread down there. And it's all right if it doesn't fit exactly perfect. But now I can actually push it down there, stop it enough to make a good glue joint. So now I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off real quick and get this thing glued on. So there's the final product. You can see that it's glued in. One thing I did forget to tell you before I glued this in is I do extra glue on these since we're dealing with a wet environment. And also, when I put the bread in, you guys saw it was dry, but by the time I got to the point of gluing this hat on, the water was starting to seep through already. So I couldn't show you that, but you have 30 seconds to a minute of work time before the bread starts giving way. So we're gonna let this sit for a few and then let the glue cure. And then from there, go ahead and start the system up, make sure everything's well. All right, so we've been waiting here for about 5 or 6 minutes to let that glue cure, so we're good there. But if you remember, I told you in the beginning, I closed some valves down to limit how much water we're dealing with. So you can see the pump's completely blocked off, and then nothing goes past the filter with that ball valve. So don't forget to change these back around before you start the system up. You don't want to cause any damage to the equipment. So put that back where it was. There. This one was turned. Whoopsies. I'll get that cap here in a second. Turn that back over that way. Got that cap. All right, so now the pump has the flow that it needs, and then the last thing I gotta do is just turn this ball valve and open up flow. Always be careful with these. Clearly that broke off already. You don't want that cut in your hand. So now we're going to start the system, and we should be good to go. All the returns open. We got some suction lines open. Pump starting up now. That's sealed up well. I don't see any leaks. I just heard water come over here, so it's under pressure now. So now let's go over to the pool and make sure we got flow. All right. So you can see the bread coming through. See all that bread coming through? That's just what's blowing through from what we use to plug the line. So that's completely normal. Just got to get that cleaned up and everything is good to go from here. All right, so there you have it. That is a cool trick to add to your guys' arsenal when you're dealing with plumbing below grade and plumbing repairs especially. I've been using bread for years, and it's definitely a trick of the trade, and I really hope you guys will utilize it in the future instead of draining pools and all that fun stuff. So like and subscribe, and if you're wanting any help with your business or coaching or tips, check out my Patreon link below. I really appreciate all the supporters of mine out there, and we hope to catch you next video. So take care and have a great day.